Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I know we've been doing so many podcasts, so you've got to have another one, I'm afraid. But today's a very special one. We are talking to one of the biggest up-and-coming women's wrestling stars in the UK scene right now. She's Cornish, so she likes her pasties. Maybe I'll have to ask that question in a minute. She is the Demolition Woman. She's won, I think, 1/3 of the Lana Austin experience, but she had a bit of a better weekend than her friend Lana Austin, who lost the Progress title. Rio won that, but she retained her Soft Pro title at the weekend. It is LA Taylor. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, how's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. So you had a better weekend than your counterparts this week.
It was an eventful weekend, wasn't it?
It was. I was at Progress. I saw the change. I didn't. She did win her first match against Alexis, obviously, but yeah.
Exactly, she did.
Yes.
How unfair is this unlocking? I'd forgotten that Rio had it, to be honest. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm up in Manchester. I checked my phone, like, hey, my match went great. Oh.
Yeah, I know. To suffice to say, the Electric Ballroom was very happy, although Lana wasn't so happy.
Me and that Electric Ballroom, we don't always agree, right?
That's okay. Right. We don't always agree, but we don't have to agree on everything.
No.
We do have some fan questions to ask you later as well. We've had quite a few come in, which is nice. First off, living down there, south, Cornwall area. I know it very well. I've talked before that I've got my mum and dad live down there. How difficult was it to start wrestling down there? Because obviously, I didn't know. I mean, I've heard of obviously Cornish Pro Wrestling, which is down there. But was there many other schools or many other wrestling companies down there at the time? Because you've only been doing it 4 or 5 years now, right?
Barely that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But no.
No, there wasn't many.
Short, no. There's next to nothing.
No, that's true. I mean, it is like
the way you do it is by driving into a different county.
Yeah.
You bundle all your friends together, you share the fuel money, and you commit yourself to this mad adventure 2-3 times a week. And yeah, forever scrabbling to find fuel money, I think, when you're training that far away.
It was weird because it was a New Year's resolution, wasn't it, to start doing something different in your life?
Yeah, it was a general New Year's resolution. Hey, I want to experience life, because I'd had a tragedy occur in my life, and I thought, God, I can't waste it. Like these people, there are people who I grew up with who had already passed away without ever realizing their dreams, and that hit me hard for some reason. It just really got me at one point, and I thought, dreams don't have to be huge, they don't have to be small, but if I get one shot at it, I want to experience everything. So wrestling really wasn't the goal at all. Although I might have daydreamed and pretended to be a wrestler as a kid, it wasn't something in my mid-20s at the time that I had actually thought about as, I'm going to be a wrestler. That hadn't occurred to me. And I'll never lie and say that was something, I wanted to be that my whole life. It hadn't occurred to me. I didn't even know it was possible. Like you say, there was nothing down there. But yeah, I was on this roll. I was like, hey, I'm going to try laser tag, paintballing. I'm going to try making pottery, painting, face painting, try and do something for charity. I went on a mad charity thing, did a skydive, a zip wire, and just sort of did horrible things that scared me. Which I have less zest for right currently, but the discomfort zone, I'm existing in it, so it's okay. But yeah, a friend of mine goes, oh, there's a wrestling taster day in Bodmin, and I was like, and I'm going to send some love to Bodmin. I love Bodmin. It's a town of two halves, all right? So I was like, Bodmin, this could be bad. And so off we went because I was like, yep, we'd already done self-defense. So we were feeling pretty hench. And we went to this day, and oh my God, it was this back room, right, of a gym, quite like, it was very dodgy. But basically, the walls, the ceiling, everything, there were like branches of trees coming in. There was mold everywhere, and I was very overweight and heavily asthmatic at the time, and I had a chest infection, so I probably shouldn't have been training. They should have told me no, probably. But off I went into a moldy room to go and gas myself up, and yeah, I threw up. I threw up a lot. I never drink those blue electrolyte drinks. Yeah, but I'd had one because my friend was like, yeah, this will help us out. And I was like, I don't like the taste of it or anything, but whatever. So I drank that, and I was like, and I was throwing up blue. So I've never had one since. Not the blue one anyway. But my God, yeah. That was the first day.
Welcome to the world of wrestling in wonder. I done some training when I was a teenager, and I learned very quickly and very painfully that it definitely, I'm better with a microphone in front of me or something along that. For me, you obviously never away from adversity though. I mean, you were told quite quickly you had no coordination, you weren't going to make it. Did that kind of spur you on even more to sort of, I'm gonna swear, use the term "fuck you" and just do it?
Are we allowed to swear? That's incredible.
Of course you are allowed to swear.
It's like being at the ballroom. Yes and no. I'm not going to pretend I'm some kind of shrinking violet. I did performing arts from the age of sort of 5 or 6, and I was trying out characters when I was 3 or 4. So daily life, I'd be like, I'm just going to try being a bit like this today, and very strange child, but I've forgotten the question.
Oh
yeah.
Adversity.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm shy, but at this point in my life, I was. So not so much shy as just the self-confidence, being overly, worried about things. So I very much wanted to be out of the way anyway. So I was like, maybe they'll notice my efforts, but I hope they don't notice me trying until it works. so yeah, I was trying, because I was like, oh, screw you. And because I thought, just because people say you're not going to do well, are you doing it because you want to do well, or are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it to prove something to yourself, maybe? And I think it was more proving to myself that I still had worth and still had something to live for, and I still could rely on myself, was more the journey I was on. And I was sort of like, if I just secretly do this over here for a few months, and then maybe if I move better, look better, do better, then they can notice, that would be great. Because nobody likes the bit where they're failing, and the hard work and the sweaty red face bit, which is where I live. that's the zone I live in. But yeah, it kind of, but not quite. It was more internal than that. After that, a definite fuck you. Yeah. After that, it was just like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I just do like several things that blew your mind because you never thought it was possible? Well, fuck you. I'm gonna do some more.
Exactly. And
yeah, not initially. Afterwards, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely a big fuck you now to them.
Oh yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about Progress. Electric Ballroom, we've already just spoken about it. It is a unique venue. I know. I say it was my first time at Progress on Sunday. I just got on before, so I'd never.
It's your first time
to Progress, yeah. I've been to others, but Progress, yeah.
You come along. We'll look after you.
Yeah. I mean, we saw. I met you at Slam Masters, but Progress was one of my first Progress show, and it's such a unique setting. And obviously, I think you mentioned before, there's so many bands that have played there. If you like your rock, you like your punk, there's so many. What was it like for your first experience? You obviously you've been there before, but this is you're now the people. You're now the people that, or the person that people are coming to see.
Well, no, this was the thing.
Ah,
I'd read about the Electric Ballroom in like Kerrang magazine, Metal Hammer magazine. I'd been following it since I was like 13 and thinking like, oh, and like you always see adverts for like the Underworld, Camden, and
yeah.
Camden Town in general. So I was just there like, I'd never made it to a gig there. I'd never been to Camden before my Progress debut. So I'm there like, um, saying hello to everyone because I'm Cornish and that's what I'm used to. And everyone's like, uh, and and just being like, cool, okay, no problem. Um, Lost my mind because there's a Wendy's there and I haven't seen one outside of the United States. So I was just like, Wendy's. Sky Smithson took me there. Big up, Sky. And yeah, I just sort of meekly put my stuff down and went looking around. I'm like, this is the ballroom. And I was like, and I'm gonna be in here perform and I'm going to see backstage where all sorts of horrible things have probably happened. And yeah, I was like, wow. So it was a lot in one day, and I'm super glad at the gentle, supportive way that they brought me in. And I can't be more grateful for that because I think I would have, yeah, it was nice to not be so overwhelmed that I couldn't do my job well.
Yeah.
So yes, I was able to come in and ruin everything for Kanji and save the day for Lana. So success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big thumbs up. But before that, we mentioned Lion's Den as well that you train at now. I mean, how is that now training wise? How much training do you do between your shows? Do you do more when you've got a show coming up, or is it just you've got so many now that you have to kind of fit them in?
That's a really good question. I've had a bit of a cold recently.
Oh,
So for me at the moment, training with a group of people would be very selfish. So I've got to try and do like hill walks, runs, stuff in the gym if the gym is empty where I can spray everything down, not stuff where I'm close quarters touching with people. So not so much at the moment. It's definitely a juggling act though, because you have like a regular job or something to help boost your income. You've got to hit the gym like 3, 4 times a week. I like to hit training twice a week. If I don't have any shows, or maybe I have one show, maybe I'll do an extra cardio class. Lion's Den's really great for sort of understanding and flexibility in that way because the head coach, Eddie Ryan, he's worked full time as a wrestler. He's had a full schedule. He understands the commitments required. And he understands that, if you're throwing yourself through a table on the Friday, you're probably not going to be in the same town doing class, and perhaps you swap the days that it sounds like such a simple thing. I know that I'm putting over just such simple general general nice people things, but I've been at places where if you can't turn up, you get a guilt trip message or you're not very committed, and it's like, oh well, I am. I got back from Birmingham at like 4 a.m. So I'm not coming to training 2 hours away at 9 a.m. Like, all the best though, and I'll be hitting the gym later. Like, it's nice to have an understanding environment for where it comes for leveling up and trying to actually professionally do this. Such a simple thing as that understanding is so valuable. You find that at any of the great schools in the UK, New Wave,
yeah.
fantastic school, so great. For me, I'll just be like, hey, I've got a really quiet week and a bit of extra cash. I can drive up to Wales and train. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, hop on in. So yeah, it's just a good professional school that sets you up to be a professional.
Yeah.
As well as just enjoy it. It's so fun. One of my best and favorite places to train because I I do so rubbish in training. I constantly just like, oh, that was rubbish. Brilliant. Be rubbish here, fail here. My main thing about where I like to train, whether it's in the gym, classes, or wrestling, is a safe space to fail because you're there to learn. You're not there because you're perfect. And in wrestling, you're never perfect, right?
Unless you
So,
missed
you know,
Mr. Perfect was perfect. If you ever remember Kurt Hennig, I don't know if you watched him. See,
his entrance music is on our training playlist for the school, yeah.
brilliant. That's brilliant entrance.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best entrance music. Championships. You're very fond of those, and you have quite. When you get that, obviously, we've sponsored a whole event, so we know we see the rundowns and stuff like that. But when you get told, you're winning your championship, you're maybe the first time you've got like, right, we're putting the women's title on you or a title on you. How did you process that? Because now you've gone from someone that's just wrestling to they're trusting you to put a title on you, which now means you're the one partly responsible for people wanting to come through that door because they want to see the champion. How did you react to that first moment when they said, LA Taylor, you're going to be women's champion tonight?
Like the very first one I ever had?
Yes. Yeah.
That would have been SWW.
Yep.
Southwest Wrestling for Pete Bainbridge. For me, I was taken away and shocked and very touched by Pete's support, and I still am. When I was made unwelcome by people and previous places I've been, I thought, I won't be able to wrestle anywhere. Nobody's going to help me wrestle now. That's my tie to wrestling gone. I might as well quit. And I had been training really hard. This was through lockdown in COVID. And I kept putting up diaries about my workouts, what I was doing, my food, the billion jobs that I was doing because I needed money. And I had a message from Pete saying, "Hi, I'm Pete. I've seen your Instagram. You work really hard. I know that you're very new." And yeah, I'd had less than 10 matches at this point and all of that time off for COVID. So he's like, "Hey, I know you're new, but I think with the right approach and, if we sort of nurture you a bit, we could have you as a part of our company and I'd really like to book you." And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, brilliant." And, things got cancelled and rebooked and cancelled and rebooked. And I ended up working for him at a music festival where half the advertised talent didn't turn up for one reason or another, but he didn't realize they weren't going to be there, whether or not, whatever reasons. So I ended up working working just a little double and a promo segment. And he was just like, "Oh, I need this to happen." And I was like, "Yep, no problem." Absolutely terrified. Like, "Yeah, sure, I'll work loads, don't worry about it." My brain's exploding, but I was like, "Oh, this poor guy's really in a bind." He was having a really rough time whilst trying to run a show. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll just muck in and have fun." And the whole crew was so fun. So I wrestled my friend Aurora, who's retired now. She's who I initially went to that place in Bodmin with. And then ended up wrestling my first it wasn't my first intergender match, was it? I don't know, but I think it was my first singles intergender match with Big Jim. And I was like, "Whoa!" And I'd wanted to meet Big Jim for ages because I'd seen him wrestle and I was like, he seems pretty cool. And he posts really funny stuff. And I was like, "Oh, sick, I get to wrestle him." And we had a lovely time. We had such a lovely time. And he was so happy that then he said, "If you're willing to work for me and do all of that extra work for me, then I'm willing to invest in you." So he did. And he put together this tournament for he bought a women's championship, put a tournament together, called it the Warriors Championship. He was like, "I don't want a pink belt." He was like, "It's heavy. It's a heavy belt." Charlie Morgan has it currently. She'll tell you it's heavy. And he was like, "Yeah, that's going on you, that is." I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we're going to do it in Stroud. And I was like, well, Stroud is where my great grandmother used to watch wrestling. So I had a match in a room where my grandmother would have watched wrestling and won my first championship. And it was against Dominita, and I love her. So I was just like, yes. And it was with my favorite ref, Rory White. So I was like, yes, all of my favorite people. And it was just a lovely day. It's a really lovely time, you
What
know.
a great story.
Yeah.
What a great story. We actually have, see, funny enough, you talk about buying belts. We have our belt on now, the Turnbuckle Championship. It is a legitimate title. It gets defended as well. So maybe, yeah, I might have to include. I mean, you've run it into gender. It's currently on a male champion at the moment, although that could change in a couple of weeks.
Who is it? Who's the current
There's a
champ?
guy called Smashing Mike. He's our world
You
champion.
know, Smashing Mike.
You know Smashing Mike. What a guy.
Smashing Mike's dad is one of the most over wrestling parents I've ever met.
Well, he's our champion for now, but he does have a defense coming up against Chris Ridgway in a couple of weeks' time. So, yeah, and he's
good luck, Smashing Mike.
Yeah, and it'd be good luck for whoever wins that. I kind of have the scoop of who the winner will take on in February, but I'm not going to say anything on this channel. Maybe you'll find out. But potentially we could get an LA Taylor versus Smashing Mike match down the line. Who knows? That could happen, or whoever the champion is at that point. Speaking of champions, we're going to get into some of the questions now from our great fan base that we have. Yes, we do have. Watch this channel. Yeah, it's amazingly enough we do. One of the questions is actually from a girl called Taylor. Funny enough, and we got an LA Taylor, and she said, "You've got three women wrestling personalities that you would invite around for dinner." For a Cornish pasty, why not? Let's say pasty, because I like the Cornish pasties anyway.
Yeah, man.
Who would you invite and why?
I love a chat, but I can be a bit awkward. You can ask anyone. I'm just a bit, and that's not me being like, oh, I'm so awkward. Like genuinely, just to rubbish, terrible. So to help smooth things over and bring a bit of flow, I would bring in SoCal Val.
Oh yes,
that and because she is just joy in a person. So we'd have SoCal Val. Who else? Nikki Cross, because I met her recently backstage at a show, and she was energy. She had so much energy. I was like, wow, how is that contained in this one person? So I just they're like, wow, just watching them bounce off each other. And then one more, one more. I'd have to invite Sky Smithson because she's my bud. We can vibe. If those guys are like, we can just sit there and go, wow, man. I mean, look this out. And we'd be like, yeah, cool.
There you go. There you go, Taylor. That's yours. Michelle, another one of our listeners said, it doesn't matter what stage, whether it's English, WWE, wherever, you got a fatal four-way for a women's championship, right? But
right, been in a few of those.
Yeah, got to be champions. So they can be British champion. It could be past, present champions of whoever. Who's your three opponents going to be?
They don't have to hold it currently.
No.
Thick. Danny Luna.
Oh, I love Danny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime I get to be in a ring with her is an absolute delight. No, I say an absolute delight. Sometimes my head gets taken off. That's fantastic. I weirdly enjoy being beaten up by her. It's a lovely day either way. What a great day out.
What a treat.
What a treat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she'd be there.
With Danny, I don't think I could go to that because every time I've gone to an event, Danny's lost, as well as Wild Boar. So I need to get away. I need to see them.
She took my head off the other day in Bristol. She ain't losing all the time. Trust me. I felt that one. got my comeuppance there, I tell you, my God. Yeah, I knew about that one. Charlotte Flair,
Of course.
more controversial. I personally feel she gets a lot of hate, right? But I absolutely adore her. I think she's great. I think that if we bridge the gap between where we are or are going in the next 5-year period of wrestling and perhaps back where we see the Bellas, Charlotte Flair's the bridge, is where we see that change in attitudes become more widespread. I think she's a fantastic athlete. She's a fantastic character. I prefer her as a heel because I think she has incredible fire. Yeah, and the chance to share a ring with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's fantastic. No hate for Flair from me.
No, well, you've got one more.
I've got one more.
Yes, four-way. You got one more.
Yeah, of course I do. I forgot how 4-ways work. Oh yeah, I'm in it. Haha, I don't have to choose 4.
No,
I have to choose 3 because I'm in it.
that's right.
I'm not the brains of the Lana Austin experience. uh, okay. Bit of a wild card. Bull Nakano.
Watch out.
Yeah. Because something makes me feel nervous about Bull Nakano. And it always does. I always go, ooh. And I think, do you think will you have a moment where Bull Nakano and Danny Luna meet? I would be in there going, what? So yeah, I probably shouldn't be in it. I'll just get distracted because I'll be like, this is so cool.
I could imagine you behind with your thumb like that.
I just going,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
We're coming to like another question. This is from my co-host Andy, who's delivering beer to England, so we can't put him off. We've got to. He said, "Who is your Mount Rushmore of women's wrestling?" That's a tough one.
Oh,
Yeah, what a disastrous question, Andy.
that sucks. It doesn't suck, but it's very difficult because you can't. I'm going to answer it, and we're going to agree that this can change. So we're just going to go with who comes to mind right now. No judging. I wish we could do categories like British wrestling, this era, this style, this place. But you won't allow me that.
Can't be too precise.
Yeah. Mildred Burke, I think, because you can't have one of the oldest, longest standing women's championship belts named after you without being somewhat important. I like reading about her as well. Yeah, Mildred Burke's got to be up there. Alundra Blaze, specifically when she was Alundra Blaze, because I remember watching some really early sort of WWE, and she was someone who was suplexing and doing wrestling. And I was like, oh, she's the real deal. She does that beautiful bridge. Rare do you see one as smooth and as beautiful as that still. And one of my favorite moments in women's wrestling is when they had the big women's rumble and Beth Phoenix is on commentary and Alundra Blaze comes out and she goes, oh my God, because it's her childhood hero. And so yeah, Alundra Blaze. Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
Because I'd be stealing a lot of that attitude. I wanted to shave my head and everything. I wanted to be her for a little while, and I realised I'm a bit too tall, bless her. You wouldn't know. Do you know, I absolutely loved it. Do you remember that time where she absolutely slammed Sherry into the floor? And Sherry just takes it like an absolute champ. Oh, so yeah, Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
Intensity, attitude. Oh my God. And just pushing it to a point where she doesn't feel she has to, at that point, betray this feminine norm, but she's still sexy and sensuous and scary. And I like that. I like that. It's what I try to go for a little bit in my own work. We'll get there one day, but I love her. Oh, this is where you need about another 4 spaces.
Yeah.
Um, eek. I'm just going to put a personal one in there because it's my Rushmore and my influences. So I'm going to say Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix. Yeah.
Sorted.
Those of you that don't know, Beth Phoenix does Adam Copeland's "You Think You Know Him" at the start of his AEW theme nowadays. It's her.
I wondered if he would get her to do that because she has a lovely voice.
Yeah, it's her. It's her. It's not "You Think You Know Me" anymore. It's "You Think You Know Him." And
I love that.
she says it, which is great. Speaking of sort of characters and people, like you've been, I've been reading up on you. Unfortunately, sorry.
No, thank you.
One of these things. Some of the people commented on when they've seen you wrestle and they've seen you live and all that sort of stuff, and they've compared you to the likes of, and I think you've said before, Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill, and Raquel Rodriguez, to name just a few names of that. When you, I mean, obviously, I know you haven't read it because we were speaking just off air about it, but when you hear that from people that have seen you compete, or even me just talking to you about it now, does that sort of fill you with a bit of joy? Is that who you want to be known for? Or is like, you want to be an LA Taylor, but it's great to have these comparisons to people now that are, especially like a Jade Cargill at the moment, is just everywhere in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting because that's a very different group of people from all over the world. But what I do like about it is the attitude, and I'm like, oh, cool. So I have, or they feel like I have a bit of that, which is pretty cool. It could never be an insult because those people are doing great and are fantastic people. You're always unable to see these sort of things yourself. So I don't really see it myself, because my influences are very much most of the people I've already mentioned, like Beth Phoenix, but also like Triple H, people like that. So, but I assume we've probably got a lot of the same influences. So, yeah, I don't know. I never really know what to make of it, but it's never a bad thing. It's quite nice.
Yeah, certainly the Rhea Ripley before she turned into Judgment Day. It seems like it's an Aussie thing because Rhea Ripley's obviously was Australia, surfing. Cornwall's got surfing play, or Cornwall's
man,
surfing through there. There was another quick fan question. Actually, it wasn't a fan question. It was our co-host Dave, another one of our co-hosts.
Hey Dave.
Hey Dave. Yeah, he's just had a baby. Funny enough, called it Ace. And funny enough, when I was at Slam Masters, he named it Ace. One of the reasons he named it Ace was Ace Austin.
Oh no way! We had hot dogs.
He owes me a donut. Well, to be fair, he doesn't owe me one. I want to be a part of his donut club, and it's apparently very.
It's a donut club. Oh, I'm so sad. I want to be in the donut club.
I want to be in the donut club with Ace Austin.
Yeah.
But he got told me no in the first instance, but he did sign some stuff, and
no,
you got to be. It's a very big group. There's only about a couple of people he would share donuts with, and I wasn't. Sad. But anyway, going back to Dave's question, he said, if you could have a band play you out at a big venue, like, you see it now in AEW, WWE, even Impact Wrestling do it, or TNA as it's soon to be called again, who would you have play you out? Who would you want the band to be?
Pie in the Sky. Could be anyone.
Yeah, anyone.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Metallica.
There you go.
Please.
Metallica.
I'd like to high five all of them.
Oh, you can do that. They generally
do. Yeah, and they'd be like, yeah, go get it. And I'd be like, you know how they do that sometimes?
Yes.
And like when Triple H comes out and Motorhead are there, and he's just like, to Lemmy, and Lemmy's like, yeah. And then you're all like,
at WrestleMania. I was at WrestleMania. It was my first WrestleMania I went to. It was WrestleMania 21.
What?
Motorhead played him out. But I swear to God, I've been to 5 in total. I was at
Yeah.
21, then I went 25, 26, 27, 28 in consecutive years. But Motorhead played him out at 21. And he come out, he was come off, sort of rising up from I suppose, a platform onto the stage. But I swear to God, they done his song wrong. They was different. Like it was, I was singing it in my, well, I was singing it. I can't sing for shit, but I was singing it anyway. And I was like, hang on, you said something that was part of another part, like later on part of the song. So I don't know whether they were.
Yeah. Well, when they remix things like that for entrance music, like, is that'll be Rick Rubin, right?
Mm.
Because I know that Triple H talks to Rick Rubin a lot, and I think Motorhead were working with Rick Rubin at the time. I'm not sure. The producer, if anyone doesn't know. I imagine they just chopped it up to get the words that they wanted, because sometimes you can't. But yeah, and the thing is Lemmy's not going to change his shtick for you, because Lemmy's bigger than you.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It was cool, but it was a sight. I mean, that was amazing to see that sort of, live, to have them live. I'm not a concert.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm not a concert. I'm not a gig goer. I like bands, but I don't. I won't go and see them. I'll just have my iPad probably got Edge, Metangalus, and Triple H's song. I've got the King of Kings. I had his old song as well, My Time, before that. He seems to be the one that's had the best lyrics, one of the best theme songs.
I feel as though it's because he's got some of the best music taste, though. Look at him. He's, like I say, the Rick Rubin connection.
Yeah,
is producer of some of the best rock and metal bands of all time, and friends with Lemmy. So sick. He deserves to have the best music. He's got the best music taste.
He does. He does indeed. As we're starting to wrap up now, I want to get to say, what have you got? Where can people get your merch? Where can people find you? How can promotions book you? And what is your diary looking like wrestling wise?
So my diary is all right. 2024. Let's get it a bit more filled up. I've got some really exciting stuff coming up. Really great opportunities and things. So I'm super excited. I'm not too worried, but I would like to go to a few more places. Would be nice. Do something a bit different. Who knows? You can find me by just typing in L.A. Taylor Wrestler or L.A. Taylor PW in any social media platforms. I have my big cartel. I've got brand new merchandise out at the moment, featuring my brand new coat of arms, which you'll see on my new entrance jacket. It's fabulous. It's all going on. Yeah, keep up, get involved. Demolition Club, let's go.
Exactly. There you go. But what we've got, I better talk about what we've got coming up as well. Otherwise, I'm going to probably get killed by the bosses of my show, most notably Andy. We're here, there, and everywhere. This week, we're sitting down with NWA star Chris Silvio to talk about NWA's pay-per-view at the weekend. Myself and Fiona Loughran for Inside the Ropes will be doing that this coming week. We're at shows this week. I've been invited down to RCWA in Raynham to watch their Halloween show. There is a coffin match main event between Kelly Six and Warren Banks, who's going to be retiring at the next program.
Excuse me. We love Warren Banks. Love you, Warren.
You've got a fan, Warren, who will be retiring. He's actually retiring at Progress's next show, which I'm also going to see at the end of November, back at the Electric Ballroom. He'll be taking on the Damn Dirty Dog, Gene Money. His trainer, his mentor. There's his retirement match. We'll be down there for that. We're also going to be at our spiritual home, Ignite Wrestling Pro. I've already mentioned this before. On the 12th of November, Smashing Mike will be defending our championship, making his first defense against Chris Ridgway. Gene Money will be on that card as well. And if he loses his match, Gene Money, he will no longer ever be able to wrestle at Ignite Wrestle Pro again at Shenley Road in Boreham Wood. I can kind of announce the Buckle Up 2024. So our second show with Ignite is happening. I can't confirm date and location yet, as again, I'd be sacked. But we are working on that with Ignite. And I still can't confirm the big guest for the end of the year that we've got coming up, because we are at the stage now where we're confirming dates. Let's just to say, and so if I say, LA Taylor, I may tell you when we go off air in a minute who that is. But let's basically say, if you are a fan of wrestling during the Attitude Era, then you will be a fan of this person that we have coming aboard. But LA Taylor, I will thank you for your time this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I met LA at Slam Masters. I did say that on the show. That was a great event at Slam Masters. I hope to go and see Slam Masters as well soon. We have been invited by a lot of wrestling promotions to come and see your shows, not necessarily your shows, LA, but shows in general. Also, Rev Pro, I'll be going there when I get back from Madrid. I'll be going to see the guys at Rev Pro again. There's been so many guys that have reached out, so many companies that have reached out. We can't thank you enough for that. We will be getting to as many as possible. I know we've got Shropshire Wrestling Alliance. I know we're going up to AWW as well. Dave, who lives up that way in Tipton, will be going to maybe take Ace. I don't know. We'll have to find out soon. But LA, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and good luck with your defenses. And maybe I'll see you at Progress very soon.
You never know.
Where that Lana Austin experience rolls in. But guys, this has been the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I have been your host, Adam Cousins. She has been the Demolition Woman, LA Taylor. Until next time, everybody, buckle down and stay safe.